Chinese creators, they looked at the universe and saw that it was empty, so they created worlds. Worlds were dead rock, no life, much today as it is now. So the creators wanted to create life. They chose this planet here, Earth, closer to the sun. Okay? So they wanted to create life here. So we believe that the Ngaranganis came together, energy, powerful unseen energy. They came together and they created the flood that flooded this planet. Okay, so once the planet was flooded, Ngaranganis waited, creators waited, and they waited for the oceans to subside. So when the ocean levels dropped, lands were formed out of the ocean. Okay, it was then that we believe that the creators came down and they created the first Dreamtime spirit to walk on the land. It was the rainbow serpent. Rainbow serpent is synonymous throughout all Aboriginal nations. No matter what nations you go and talk to, they'll tell you about the rainbow serpent because it traveled through. But what was its role? What was the role of the rainbow serpent? Its role was to come and form landscapes, form the land, trees, rivers, gorges, valleys, hills, mountains. That's what the rainbow serpent created. When it finished, headed towards sunrise. We believe that's where a lot of the Ngaranganis, creators, energy, lives in the sun to give it its energy. Keeps burning. So Rainbow Serpent had completed its task. Now the creators came down and said, righto, we have open canvas. So how did they do it? The creators took pieces of their souls, planted it in the ground. So the first living things to have life in our belief, trees and plants. They were the first things to have life. Right? Now the plants are all growing, trees are all growing, everything is looking good, but it's still lacking life. So now the creators come down and then they create all of our totems. So that's how energy worked, or Ngarangani worked. It created life. So now it's all our totems. All the animals are born. Okay? Our totem, the barramundi, she was born out in the ocean. She wanted to come inland to lay eggs. But we believe that all the coastal areas were all sealed up. There were no estuaries, no inlet, nothing. So just a solid wall out there. Here's a twist of the story. Right where Lake Argyle now sits, used to be a giant nest belonging to the crane and the cockatoo. The crane was the male, married to two females, a white cockatoo. They lived in there. That was the nest where the valley, Lake Argyle Valley. But every dry time, creeks and rivers dry up, no water in the valley. So one day the crane and the cockatoo flew up, and as they flew up, they looked to the north and they saw that the ocean was there. So they wanted to create a river. So what they done was they took the bones out of their noses and they trenched what the Ord is today. You know what the original name for the Ord is? Gunanurum. Where do you think Kununurra gets its name from? Running water. So the Ord was developed by the crane and the cockatoo. Once it trenched the Ord all the way out there, or Gunanurum, they came back and they rested right at Packsaddle Plain. Big ridge line where the diversion dam is. They was resting there. The barramundi had the opportunity to swim up the Ord. So it swam up the Ord, opening up the Ord to where it is today. Tracking all the way up towards diversion dam. But the crane and the cockatoo, they was awoken by the barramundi swimming up. So they saw the barramundi in the distance. They gathered all the stone from Packsaddle Plain and they started building the rock wall where diversion dam is now built on top. They called that Dara. So they was now waiting to trap the barramundi right there where the diversion dam sits. Barramundi coming up, saw the wall being built, cut up the Dum River Junction. It followed the Ragged Ranges all the way up to this point, tracking towards Matsu Ranges. Okay? Now remember we pulled up at Burger Hill there. I was telling you about Nawagol, Fort Gorge. So the barramundi coming up here, the woman heard the barramundi travelling. They wanted to trap the barramundi. See, the only thing that we believe in the Dreamtime story was this was Goring. Sorry, Matsu Ranges. Okay, original name Goring. There's only this ridge line here. There was no peel off where the mine now sits. That was created in the Dreamtime by the woman. So they gathered all of the rocks. They tried to trap it with Burger Hills, and it was too shallow. Barramundi swam, busted it, pushed the rocks there, forming Burger Hill. So now, in a rush, the woman started chasing in front of the Barramundi and building Matsu Ranges, that section there where the mine is. Once they had completed that, they were on top, having Will, woman song and dance, trying to sing the Barramundi to slow down. Now, this point in time, you got two different versions of the same story. You got a male and a female story, right? Female believed that there was a cave located on the northern face of Matsu Ranges. They call it Devil, but they call it Numbane. They believe that the Barramundi swam into the cave called Numbane. But you know where Numbane really is? Water table. Okay. So the Barramundi swam into the water table. The woman on the other side tried to trap it, so they tried to block the cave up. They believe that the Barramundi swam around in circle, and as it did, created a whirlpool. Okay. So the waves of the whirlpool knocked the woman off the top of the bank, sucked them into the whirlpool. And then the Barramundi escaped. They believe that it jumped through, and as it jumped through, it dislodged a huge giant scale on top of the woman. So the giant scale basically sunk, and as it did, the woman got drowned and their souls trapped in the scale. So they believe that all the different colored diamonds are basically the souls of the woman that were trapped by the Barramundi scale. So that's the woman's version. Male version, we're more simple. We believe that women were on the top, Barramundi came through, didn't stop, knocked the woman off the top, creating the gorge. If you look at the original photos from Matsu Ranges, you'll see that there is a natural gorge there. We believe that the Barramundi created that. It knocked the woman off the top, they fell into a secret water hole. As the Barramundi sailed past over, giant eggs. So it was the eggs that was deposited by the Barramundi, the eggs that turned into diamonds. So there's your two different versions of our totem.